Ilia Topuria has rapidly made his mark as one of the finest featherweights on the planet by dominating the best in every MMA promotion he fought had to offer. But the UFC, they say, is a different ball game altogether, and you won't reach the top unless you're the best. Does El Matador have the tools to take out Alexander Volkanovski when the two battle for the featherweight crown at UFC 298? Let's look back at the Georgian's incredible MMA journey to find the answers. Born in Germany to Georgian parents, Ilia Topuria started his combat sports journey in his childhood with Greco-Roman wrestling, much like his next opponent, Alex Volkanovski. Years later, Topuria settled in Spain and joined one of the country's top MMA gyms, Clement Club, to learn mixed martial arts. Due to his quick learning ability, Topuria was able to get a strong grasp of different forms of combat early, and he started his professional MMA journey at only 18 years old in 2015. With 3 wins in his first 3 professional bouts, Topuria had his first taste of gold when he bested John Guarin to win the mixed fight event's featherweight title. In the next few years, Topuria competed in various promotions, most notably Cage Warriors and Brave Combat Federation. In his 6th professional fight, Topuria was handed a Cage Warriors bantamweight title shot, and although he managed to win the fight by decimating his opponent in less than 2 minutes, he couldn't win the belt because he had missed weight. Topuria's victories in Brave Combat Federation were just as impressive as his previous ones as he put his exceptionally high-level grappling skills on display in his first promotional fight, defeating Luis Gomez by submission in less than 80 seconds. In his second promotional fight in Brave CF, Topuria put his thunderous knockout power on display by knocking Steven Gonsalves out cold with a brutal overhand right. With a record of 8 wins and no losses, Topuria entered the UFC featherweight Shark Tank, taking on Youssef Zalal in his first promotional fight. Topuria used his wrestling skills to dominate the first 2 rounds. Zalal made a comeback in the 3rd one, but it was too little too late. In his second UFC outing, Topuria set the stage alight by knocking out Damon Jackson. The Georgian's 3rd UFC victory was even better. At UFC 264, Topuria faced BJJ wizard Ryan Hall in a Clash of Titans, where Topuria smartly avoided a ground battle and let Hall roll on the mat a few times before latching onto him like a cheetah and putting his lights out. Nearly a year later, Topuria returned to the cage to face Jai Herbert in a one-off lightweight contest at UFC London. Herbert started the fight strongly, dropping Topuria early with a head kick, but the rising UFC star was able to avoid the onslaught with his Greco-Roman wrestling. In the second round, Topuria fought a smart fight and melted Herbert with a vicious right hand. Topuria continued his winning ways in his 6th promotional fight against Bryce Mitchell, outstriking him with stinging jabs and punches down the pipe, as well as beating him up on the mat. In his most recent fight in June of 2023, Topuria faced perennial featherweight contender Josh Emmett, who was a tough matchup for the Georgian on paper. It was a different story in the ring, however. For 5 rounds, Topuria used straight punches, distance management, and explosive in-and-out movement to pick his aging foe apart and win the fight by a comfortable decision. Topuria's monumental victory against Emmett earned him a title fight against Alexander Volkanovski, and the 2 warriors will battle for the ultimate glory at UFC 298. Volkanovski most recently took up a short-notice lightweight title fight against Islam Makhachev at UFC 294, where he was knocked out in the first round, so his confidence must be at an all-time low heading into his next title defense, which means Topuria can exploit that. The Georgian is a highly skilled fighter and way more than each of Volkanovski's past opponents, bar Max Holloway. He is a lifelong wrestler who has spent years on the mat, and his striking skill set is rapidly evolving as well. He is an explosive striker with vicious knockout power in his paws, and he's very technical. He usually picks his opponents apart with straight punches and jabs before unleashing ballistic hooks and nuclear crosses. Topuria's reach is a gift that keeps on giving. Much like Conor McGregor, Topuria has long arms, so he can crack his featherweights from a distance without having to take as many shots on the counter. His understanding of range and distance is elite, and he is a supremely well-rounded fighter. Alexander Volkanovski, on the other hand, is simply the best featherweight in the world. He does everything that Topuria does, but better. He is a Greco-Roman wrestling beast who is very good on the mat. His striking is a work of art as well. His punches are sharp and fast, and he has quick in and out movement. On paper, the two fighters may seem even as far as skill set is concerned, but Volkanovski does a few things that set him apart from Topuria and the rest of his peers. For example, Volk is a far better kicker than Topuria. He is experienced, and most of all, he doesn't get overly aggressive. His fight IQ is very high. That being said, Volkanovski's confidence may be low come fight night, because that Islam Makhachev knockout loss may come into play. When you've been knocked out cold once, it's always on the back of your mind whenever you step into that unforgiving UFC octagon, no matter how good you are. Topuria doesn't have that problem. He has never been knocked out in his career. He's never lost. He has only been rocked once, and even then, he managed to recover and bounce back in the biggest of ways possible. For Topuria, his next fight is a test of his skills and resilience as a fighter. He does not have the tools to take out the best dude on the planet, but he'll have to be at his best for that to happen. UFC 298 can't come any sooner. Who do you think will win the mouth-watering featherweight clash between Ilia Topuria and featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski? Will Topuria pose a significant threat to the Aussie throne? There is one way to find out: UFC 298. Share your thoughts, predictions, and opinions in the comments section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell to stay in the loop on all things combat sports. Stay tuned, fight fans.